This is a regular monthly meeting of the City of Hornell Industrial Development Agency. We do have a quorum. John, would you like to give the secretary's report?
Yes, I'll accept the motion, secretary's report that's in your packet.
So moved.
Second. Questions, comments? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Treasurer's report, Ed.
Enclosed in your packets and distributed electronically are the financials for February, and I'll entertain a motion.
John?
Second.
A second. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Committee reports, audit, John?
Yes, for February, out of the ID account, the operating account, we paid out $308,200.95. And out of the escrow account, $24,867.49.
Have a motion to,
That's the only committee report, correct?
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to approve.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Personnel, there's nothing to report.
And no report for governance.
Executive Director's report, Mike.
I'm going to give the report and we'll do the resolution for the Paris report and then just executive session for a few minutes, give a couple updates on property. So, but just in my report, should have the numbers on those two facade quotes we got for Tuttle's. I'm also looking at all options. So I'm going to have more information on other options that you can do if you wanted to. I should have them within 2 weeks. But the numbers on this, I talked to Mike Hall and he will give us the numbers on these. The holdup was getting the window company. They had the measure, they've looked at it, they've designed windows. If we want to go that way, I'll have those too, and then I'll have other options. We can do it. They did tell me though, and I talked to Mike Hall, I talked to a couple others, that you'll have, if you're going to have interest, you'll have it after the facades done. Because they've seen projects like we got described where people put apartments and put office space or whatever, but he said with the facade the way it was then, you weren't going to get a lot of interest. They think it'll help, but
Yeah, what cost?
that's the issue. And I have no clue. I don't know what these custom made. When the other thing is printing. Did you have any luck printing things? You had no luck, right?
No, because it's an overlay.
I'm going to send you guys the email of the renderings because I can't print them. No, they're like,
It tries to flatten the files.
Yeah.
It's just not.
it's the way he did it. He did it and it was kind of went down, but I'll send you and it shows old, it shows the new, it actually goes way back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let everybody see it. And then when I get the numbers, we'll talk about it again. Second thing, the Route 36 project, Dustin's going to town. He's actually got foundations in there and that. The thing and this will come back next meeting because he's firmed up his numbers. I have the quotes from his suppliers. He had in excess of $3 million, exactly what he said, to buy the equipment. He has got his financing approved. He's going to send me a copy of the commitment letter. So he's good to go. We do have to have a public hearing on that, which we're going to do on the 8th of April, 10 o'clock in the morning. And it was you had to give him 10-day notice because I was off next week. Sean was going to send one of his assistants down to do the public hearing because I wasn't here, but I will be back. And because of the 10-day window, it didn't matter. It couldn't be while I was gone. So that'll be held the 8th. And then at the next meeting, I think we can put firm numbers on everything. And anybody that wants to see the quotes and things, I have them right in my office. I haven't got the copy of the commitment letter. He says he's got it. So he's good to go. And he's spent some money up there. You know, the foundation. He still thinks it's going to go out to November, December of next year before it's finished. So it takes a while to get this thing done. This one's executives. West Street, the fourth engineering firm has got involved in that. it's very slow because of their movement. What I want to do today, I want to ask. I think it would help me if the governance committee got involved in these interviews and things. We could have the whole board, but if we have the whole board every time we do it, it's a board meeting. If it's a governance committee, it's not. Or we could have 2 board members at a time and, change off. Or we could,
Well, I think for consistency, you probably want the committee.
yeah. No, I think that it would be you guys. If it's good. You can't bring in a 3rd board member in. Does that constitute a meeting? We'll never get done. So what I thought is,
Well, even if you are having a committee meeting, having a quorum of the committee members constitutes.
yeah, if you have a
That
quorum,
is a meeting
but
itself.
yeah, you're right, but we wouldn't have a quorum if we only have 2.
That was a full board,
It
but
would
still, but a committee meeting is still a public meeting
Yeah.
of a public body.
But it would be Ricky and Jeff. And I'd probably do it on Thursday and just schedule them out an hour, half hour, whatever. But then we can all get an idea. I do have I have one proposal, but it doesn't have numbers. And that's for half-acre lots, acre lots. I did go back and I looked at Heather Heights. They're all an acre.
Mhm.
That's how big they are. Because I didn't think they were that big. But you went through them, right, Michelle?
No,
Heather Heights the size, or you did? So there were 9, I know I had.
yeah, they were one.
One was 9/10, one was, but every one of them was right around an acre. So,
Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean these have to.
No,
You can mix and match
frankly,
depending on the topography.
the engineering companies think that it's big, our acre's big. They say they just don't see many people want to mow lawns and stuff. But even if it's half or 3/4,
Selling around here.
but you're right, if you mix and match, but that's one thing we got to tell them. Because they're kind of, I've said, do me half, do me an acre. We got to, if they're gonna do an acre here and a half here, that's a whole different thing than what we're asking them. But it doesn't mean they can't do it. They can say, and the way I've looked at it, for them to be able to design that without doing all kinds of site work. And believe it or not, there's a lot of flat area there that doesn't take much work.
Mhm.
So that's how they're looking at it. But then you consider the road, the fire hydrants and all that kind of stuff.
My take would be you give the designer some leeway to come up with, 2 or 3 different options, You
I think.
could lay it out this way and have this many houses. You could lay it out that way and have a different amount of houses.
But
So what's the timeline of meeting with them? Can we do that soon?
so, well, the other guy I'm going to talk to, so I get, this guy called me yesterday, wants to be part of it. I've talked to Koza, I've talked to Fagan. I've talked to them all this week. Yeah, they're good to go. But the thing is we've got to tell them, okay, you tell us what you can do. But I think we got to at least state, we want a minimum number of lots, whether it's 8, 10, 12, because otherwise they could design it with 2. But it's difficult for them to submit a quote when they don't know if they're quoting for, 8 or 12. And the other big thing is the infrastructure. That's a cost. The NYSEG, National Fuel,
Mhm.
sewer and water, fire hydrants, sidewalks, lights, and it depends how far that we want to go for infrastructure.
What was the total acreage, Mike?
It was almost 9. No, it's over 9. I think there's an acre there we can't use because John and I went up one time, we toured it in that rainstorm, but it comes over the hill. The part we bought from Jameson, there's probably pretty close to an acre that is like this. But I think that's what Alex Wall talked about, right?
Yeah, the back end
That
there.
he'd like to buy it.
Yeah.
So I think we can, but it's can't be used. And then
It's really about 8 acres. Huh?
and then you got to take out for the road. You'll need a cul-de-sac or you need 2 entries. Now, one of the guys says, well, I think you ought to have two entry and exits, but the other guy says, no, you wouldn't want to come off that hill and then you got to get the city to agree. They'll okay with us coming off 2 different ways. Because in the end, that you guys have to approve.
I think in the end, regardless, on 8 acres, we're probably gonna have 6 acres of usable space.
Yeah. Well, we had.
Once you
nine.
get utilities.
Yeah, we had,
and
well, you
road
could,
in there.
you could well be right.
Yeah.
So if we went with 8, that's gonna give them somewhere between a half and 3/4 of an acre roughly.
Well, if you went with 8, no, I think you'd be pretty close. I think you get 3/4, yeah. That's a good sized lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not, like I said, my big thing is you don't want them on top of one another, so they feel like they're living in a,
But you know what, it's funny though, you go to Heather Heights, and I didn't think those lots were that big because they didn't look at it when you're going up, but they got huge front yards, and huge backyards, that borders on the golf course.
Mhm.
So I don't know how far off, and they don't look that big to me, but they are.
Like, so
Not right
let's
off
set
the map.
a date when you get back.
Yeah.
That first.
Well, I got that guy Wednesday. I'm gonna meet with the fourth guy, and I'll tell them all. I'm sure it won't take them, their schedules are pretty good for it. I don't think it'll be an issue, because they got here quickly. So I don't think it's gonna be an issue to get everybody. It's difficult for them when you don't spell out what you want. And pretty much what I spelled out initially, I want half acre and I want an acre. Well, and I always thought, well, we just built a road, go straight up the road. And they all said, nah, not upscale. You don't want to do this. And then they pointed out where there's very little site work on most of that land. It's like that. But when it really goes up, it's where the trees are, it isn't ours. Ours is all this way and this way. So they got to do minimal site work to put these lots in there. And in front, you got 2 acres where you don't have to do anything. There was a house on one of them, and it goes down, but it kind of like comes off a plateau and down, but it's flat. It just isn't like this. So, and that's how they situate, everyone that went up there, but that's how they situate where the lots would be. Where can we put the lots with the least work?
Mhm.
Other than putting grass seed in. So I think it'll work out. Got to get going on it because it's taking too long. And the fourth guy, he called me just because he heard about it, got a company out of Ithaca who'd like to do it. So we'll have them too. And that's all I have, except I need just a quick executive session.
I have a motion to go into executive session. John, Ed, second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're now in executive session.
Look at that.
Resolutions,
The Paris reports are forwarded to you guys. Was there any questions on them? I went through them. I think they're fine. So we need a motion to approve the Paris report.
Ed,
So moved.
second by John. Any questions, comments, concerns? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed.
That's all I got.
The old business? New business? I have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Now adjourned. I'll call the meeting to order for the Hornell Industrial Development Corporation. Secretary's report, Dan?
I'll accept the motion for the secretary's report.
I'll make a motion.
Second by Rick. Comments? All in favor? Aye. Treasurer's report, Ed?
In your packet and distributed electronically is the treasurer's report for February. I would entertain a motion.
John? Second, Rick. Any comments? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Committee reports. John?
Audit, we paid out of the IDC account in February, $15,030.56. Motion?
Ed, second, Rick. Any comments, concerns? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Personnel, is that you?
Personnel? No, that's you. Oh, yeah, that's not me.
Oh, you weren't here that time, and I think I just said it. No, it's supposed
Nothing to
be you.
report.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Governance, Rick,
No report.
no report. Mike, nothing.
Is that Pete's house?
Resolutions,
Same thing, a motion, second.
motion by Rick, second by Ed. Any comments?
That's for the Paris report, correct?
Yep.
All in favor? Aye. Carried. Old business? New business? How about a motion to adjourn? We're now adjourned.